All right, let's jump into a problem and see what it might be like working together over Zoom. I've taken the liberty of writing a question here on the whiteboard. So the first thing I usually have my student do is read that question out loud and start by reading the actual question, the question with the question mark. So let's start there. What is the sum of the angles x and y? So we know before we read the rest of the information that the answer we're looking for is a sum of two angles. And this is often a tricky part. We sometimes might solve for x or solve for y in this case and forget that the question is actually asking us for the sum. And if you're on a multiple choice test, that sort of thing can really trip you up. So we're looking for the sum of these angles. And what we're given in the question is in the figure below, lines A, B, and C are parallel, and lines L and M are parallel. I'll often have my student redraw a diagram, and I like to mark parallel lines with some dashes here just to remind myself these are parallel and these are parallel. The way I like to work with my students is asking them to categorize the knowledge that they're going to need for this question. So I'd ask my student right away, what kind of question is this? And this is an angles, a question all about angles. So we might want to review some of those rules if you're feeling like you've forgotten some of those basic rules that we need to solve this equation. So for example, we might remember about the relationship of supplementary angles. These are two angles that when we add the sum together, the sum will equal 180 degrees. Similarly, we might remember the vertical angles rule. This is when we have a figure this way, these two vertical angles are the same value. And similarly, interior angles also carry the same value when these lines are parallel. Alternate interior angles. So each of these are standard rules that you might find in your textbook, and we often will review these kinds of rules, these basics that we need in order to solve our question. So remembering some of these, let's go back now to our question and look at our diagram more carefully. Right away, we have an opportunity for solving for a supplementary angle here, right here. And that's going to come in handy because that angle is going to be similar to this angle x that we're solving for. And furthermore, angle x is a vertical angle here. And we see that same relationship here. So the value of all of these parallel lines is they allow us to find the similar angles. And that's exactly what a student can do. You can walk yourself through this problem, solving one piece at a time until you get to the answer. So let's start at the beginning with this supplementary angle here. If we know we're trying to find this angle, we want to subtract from 180 degrees. 180 minus 115 is 65. These angles here are similar. This is also a 65-degree angle. This angle x here, also a 65-degree angle. This angle here, also a 65-degree angle, a 65-degree angle, and look at that, a 65-degree angle. Now remember our question, what is the sum of angles x and y? So if we found x, to equal 65 degrees, and y, angle y to equal 65 degrees, we have to remember at the end to find that sum, 130 degrees. So this problem just demonstrates how every chance we get, we can connect to some basics. We can remember back these rules that we've learned previously and use every problem to strengthen our knowledge of the basic rules and figure out how to apply them and take apart and solve a problem.